Thanks for clicking. Welcome to another Knowledge Math production. Today we're going to be talking about converting fractions into decimals and percents. Okay, so we're going to start with a fraction and convert it to a decimal, and then convert that decimal over to a percent. All right, so let's get started on this. So if you want to change a fraction to a decimal, you simply divide the top number by the bottom number. So 4/5 is the same as 4 divided by 5, which if we actually worked out here, we'd have to do 5 into 4. So 5 does not go into 4, it goes in 0 times. So I'll put a 0 here. Then we're going to add a decimal here. Put that decimal up. Put a 4 minus 0 is 4. Bring down the 0. And then 5 goes into 40 8 times. So 0.8 would be our decimal. Okay, so let's try the same thing. 1/4. So 4 into 1. All right, 4 does not go into 1, goes in 0 times. 4 times 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Okay, so now I need a decimal. So I'm going to put a decimal point here. Put a 0 there so I can bring down a 0 and keep going. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. I'm going to put another 0 there, bring that down. Make a 20. 4 goes into 20 5 times. No remainder. So 1/4 is 0.25. Now, you probably already knew that. Okay, you may have. And that's fine. You can just literally, if you know a fraction, what it is a decimal, you can literally just convert it. You don't have to show all the work. I'm just showing you all the work so that you can see where it comes from. All right, let's try 4/25. So 25 goes into 4. 25 does not go into 4. Put a 0 there. You get 4 remainder. All right, so put your decimal point. Bring it up top. Put a 0. Bring it down. 25 goes into 40 one time. 1 times 25 is 25. It leaves me with 15. 0. Bring it down. 25 will go into 150. I know it will because I can make $1.50 out of quarters, right? How many quarters would it take to make $1.50? 6 of them. So 6 times 25 is $1.50. No remainder. So this is 0.16 or 16/100ths. So now to convert a fraction into a percent, okay, it takes one more step. Divide the numerator by the denominator, which we just did in the last 2 slides, and then multiply the decimal by 100. So let's take 3/16 and convert it to a percent. So we're going to do 16 into 3. 16 does not go into 3. Bring the 3 down. Put a decimal. Put it up top. Take the 0. Bring it down. 16 goes into 30 one time. 1 times 16 is 16. That leaves me with 14. Bring down the 0. 16 into 140. Let's see. It goes in 8 times? 9 times? No, 9's too many. 8. 16 times 8, right? 8 times 6 is 48. 4 to carry. 8 and 4 makes 12. Yeah, 128. So 140 minus 128, borrow, is 12. Bring down the 0. 16 goes into 120. Must be 7 times. So 16 times 7 is 6 times 7 is 42. 4 to carry. 112. Bring down another 0. 16 goes into 80 5 times. 16 times 5 actually is 80. That's good. So no remainder now. That's really good. So now we have 0.01875. To convert this now to a percent, I'm going to multiply by 100. So that means I'm going to take this decimal, move it 2 places to the right. So I move it 2 places to the right, and I get 18.75%. And I'm going to write the percent sign now because now it is a percentage, right? If I ever wanted to get back to my answer that I had previously, which was 0.1875, I need to know this is a percent. So I move this decimal 2 places back to the left, and I'd get 0.1875. okay, without the percentage sign. All right, so be careful when you need a percentage sign and when you don't. All right, take 4/5 and convert it to a percent. Okay, this one's a little easier for you folks to try here. 5 does not go into 4, so that's 4. Put a decimal. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 48 times, and no remainder. So 4/5 is 0.8. Multiply that by 100. Move that decimal 2 places. That's 80%. And now it gets a percent sign. So 4/5 is really 80%. Okay, on a 120 question test, a student got 84 correct answers. What percentage did they get? Did they work correctly? Okay, so they got 84 right out of 120. All right, so now I need to convert this to a percentage. Okay, it wants a percent. All right, so now my suggestion actually is this fraction's not in lowest terms. I'm going to put it in lowest terms. That way the numbers I deal with are smaller. I know certainly 4 goes into each number. 4 goes into 84 to 21. So that's 21 up top. And 4 definitely goes into 120. It goes in 30 times. All right. And now, oh, good. So now 3 goes into each one of these. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 3 goes into 30 10. So 7 over 10. Okay, so now we got 10 going into 7. 10 does not go into 7. Bring down the 7. Put a decimal. Bring down the 0. 10 goes into 70 7 times. That's going to be it. So that's 0.7. Move the decimal 2 places. That's 70%. There's my answer. Okay, so if you have a fraction that can be put in the lowest terms, I suggest you do that first because that makes your life a little easier when you go and try to do the division. You don't have to deal with numbers like 120 and 84. Instead, we were dealing with numbers like 7 over 10. And you may have already known that 7 over 10 was 70%. So that may have made your life even easier. Okay, and then here we go. One more. Family spends $450 every month on food. Family's income is $1,800 each month. What percentage of the income is spent on food? So 450 divided by 1,800. All right, so first things first, I'm going to cross out a 0 because there's a 0 at the end of each one. So that's 45 over 180. Now I know 5 goes into both, so let me do that. I don't know if that's the biggest number, but 5 at least goes in. 5 goes into 45 9 times. 5 goes into 180. 5 goes into 18 3 times. 5 goes into 36. Oh, it's not. Okay, good. So now 9 goes into each one of these. 9 goes into 9 one time. 9 goes into 36 4. That's 1/4. Now, you may already know what percentage that is. If you do, that's great. Just write it. If you don't, keep going. 4 divides into 1. It doesn't. Put the decimal. Bring down the 0. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 8. 2 left. Bring down the 0. 4 goes into 25 times. This is 0.25. But as a percentage, that is 25%. Move the decimal 2 places over. Okay? And that's it. That's how we convert from a fraction to a decimal and a percentage. And as always, thanks for clicking.